Hello, it's Anthony, and welcome back to my channel, guys. So for today's topic, we're going to be talking about everything hair. And my guest today has had her own salon for the past 6 years, and she is based in Southern California. So without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to my friend, Danielle.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. So I'm happy that you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So it's funny. I was interviewing Raymond a couple of days ago,
Oh
and
my gosh.
yeah, and we were talking about. Well, I started off the interview talking about how a lot of people that we went to high school with and that we did performing arts with, a lot of them aren't really pursuing careers in performing arts. A lot of them have found new passions and have ventured out to new endeavors that a lot of us probably didn't really think they would have gone into. And so, you know, you're a hairstylist, you're a beautician, you have your own salon, and I'm trying to figure out, where did all of this come from?
You know, it's crazy because I feel like a lot of, like, I guess where I found this passion per se came from being in performing arts. It came from, you know, like doing a lot of like backstage work and helping girls get ready and whatnot, and helping girls at competitions, you know, because, you know, we definitely all did that because, let's be real, we all ran a little late sometimes. So
Yeah.
we all had to just help one another out. And I feel like that's where a lot of it came from. And I don't know, I feel like I was always that person also all throughout like high school and even middle school. I was always like that girl that everyone would be like, oh, can you braid my hair today? Or, oh, can you just like put it back for me or whatever? And like, I feel like it just kind of like took off from there, because when it came to like the end of like high school and, you know, you're sitting there, you're filling out college applications, you're committing and all that stuff, definitely came to a point where I was like, dang, what am I going to be doing?
Right.
And I remember when it came up as a suggestion, I was literally like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure. Like, that's not me. And I was like, no, I'm gonna go to my 4 year and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And because like I had gotten in and I'm very thankful for that, but it was always just like, nah, whatever, I'll just keep that on the back burner. And then as it got closer and closer, I was like, okay, maybe I'll look into this, because this seems to be the only thing that's like sticking in my head, because I don't know what else I'm gonna do.
Right.
Because I wasn't about to go commit to like an expensive 4 year, move out of state, and, you know, go undecided, when I could just go to like a CC and like get my G's and then transfer. So I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And then I like toured a school in the area and everything, and I was like, yeah, okay, like I guess I could do this, you know, see where it goes. Because I mean, in my head, I was like, if anything, I'll at least finish school, get my license, and then like, you know, at least I'll have that to fall back on necessarily. Because I wasn't, even going into it, I wasn't super like, oh yeah, this is my dream, this is my passion, whatever. I was just like, I know I can do this, and I know I can at least, you know, have this to fall back on if worse came to worse. But like, you know, going through school and then seeing like all the different opportunities that it could have definitely was like very eye-opening to me. And so I feel like that's where I started to like fall in love with it. And I mean, obviously it's been working out well for me. I've been doing this for almost 6 years now.
Right.
So yeah.
So this whole thing was more so a backup plan, if anything.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy to me. Like, I feel like so many people, it's like, you know, everyone has like their backups and whatever, but no one's ever like, oh yeah, my backup is like my plan. And even obviously that definitely was on my plan. It just fell into my lap somehow, and I'm just very thankful for it.
Okay, I love that. And so you said you went to school, you got your license. How long is that process compared to like if someone did go through with, you know, a 4 year college? Is it still the same thing? Is it still 4 years, or what's that about?
So there's different routes you could take going through schooling. I know personally, I was very blessed that my parents were like, you, you know, if you're going to school, you don't have to get a job. Don't worry about it. Like, just go to school and finish school. My parents were very adamant about that, whether I was doing hair, whether I was going to a 4 year or CC, they're just like, just go and finish. And like, even so, like, I remember towards the beginning of my schooling, I tried to get a job, but they weren't working with my schooling. And I was like, okay, maybe I should just like focus and dead set on school. So going through like the trade school route, they give you like, they're very flexible about options. Like, I know there's people that did only nights. There's some people that did like only like a few days a week. Like I said, I went full throttle into school. I went 40 hours a week because it's based on an hourly system in like California. You have to reach 1,600 hours to finish schooling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I did 40 hours a week, and that took just about 9 months. So as long as you reach a 1,600 hours, you will finish, whether that takes you 9 months, whether it takes you 2 years. And I know like they offer it through like some like colleges, like, you know, like Fullerton I know has one, I think Golden West as well.
Okay.
And that's more so based on like the actual like semester schedule
Mm-hmm.
with your hours, because obviously they can't just open up the school at all times.
Right.
So I know, so I think it does take like a little bit longer, but it's the same thing. You get the same education and you'll be able to do the same thing.
Nice. And so after you get your license and you're good to go, how long is the process of, okay, I got my license, now I need to find a salon, or now am I doing hair from home, or am I traveling? How was that process for you? Where did you go after you got your license?
Yeah, so after I got my license, I mean, I was very like, I was so used to literally like essentially being in school all the time that I was like, I'd had like, I believe it was like a 3-week gap in between me finishing school and then me actually like testing to get my license.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, like I'm bored, like what am I gonna do? So throughout those 3 weeks I was like looking at jobs and everything, because I was very adamant that I was like, okay, I don't want to sleep on this, I want to get going, I want to get this started, because like, you know, like what's the point of sleeping on it and taking that extra time off? Like I might as well just jump into it, get into it, because I know if I would have waited any longer, my parents would have been like, okay, you're gonna get a job now because you're not going to school anymore, like what are you gonna be doing? And so I was like, you know, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get done, I'm gonna get the ball rolling so I could figure out what exactly I wanted to do. So I
Right.
was looking at jobs before I even got my license, and then by the time I had my license, I had already actually had a job. So
Nice.
yeah, I was working pretty quickly, and granted, it was just like, it wasn't anything like crazy or some like super amazing glamorous job. I was like working at like a little blow dry bar, which if you don't know what it is, it's literally girls get their hair washed and they get it blow dried and they get it styled and they dip.
Okay.
Which honestly, like if I had that kind of money spent, I would definitely do it because I hate washing my own hair. So, but yeah, so just doing that. And I mean, it wasn't like my dream and I knew that, but I was like, at least it's going to start getting the ball rolling so I can
Right.
figure out what I want to do and where I'm going
Absolutely.
to end up.
Okay, I like that. And so I know when I first found out that you were doing hair, you were still in school, and then you found a place in, I want to say, what is that? That's still Cypress, California, in the little Catella shop area by the.
Yeah, that's Cypress still.
Okay, yeah. So you started doing, or that's where I knew you started doing hair, and I know you moved locations, and I believe you're in Costa Mesa now.
Yes.
Okay, and so for those of you that don't know, Danielle actually lives in Hawaii right now. So how is your scheduling how are you booking appointments if you're living in Hawaii, but your salon is based in Southern California?
Yeah, it's definitely been crazy. Usually it's definitely like more consistent with me being in Southern California.
Hmm.
But you know, with COVID and everything, it's definitely been like, honestly, like, okay, I might like, I'll try and like set it out and space it out correctly, but it's always like, okay, it's based on if there's gonna be a shutdown or if there's gonna be different regulations, if there's another spike either here or there, because obviously I don't want to put myself at risk, nor do I want to put any of my clients at risk.
Right.
And as much as like people can be like, no, it's fine, I'm like, no, it's not. I don't want you taking that home to like your families, your kids,
Right.
like whoever it may be. Like it's very much like, yeah, it's been very hectic this year, more specifically, because for the most part, like I'm pretty good about reaching out to my clients, or if anything, like posting on social media that, hey, these are the dates I'm going to be in town. Please like book accordingly. And if like you need to be scheduled in or we need to fit you in somehow, like we'll get it done, because like obviously if it's not within those time slots, I'm not there. so it's like I want to be able to fit everyone in, because like if it wasn't for like my clients out in Southern California, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I do, like absolutely 1000%. And I'm very, very grateful for like all my clients that are still so loyal to me, even though I live out literally across the ocean.
Yeah. You do.
And so just like I couldn't sit there and just like turn like a shy eye and be like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna stop coming altogether, you know, because I feel like what would that portray on me? So I've always been like, okay, these are the days I'm gonna come, and I make it a point, like if I notice like I haven't had like a client that I know comes to me regularly, I'll reach out to them and be like, hey, these are the dates I'm coming, like just want to see if it works with your schedule. If not, like let me know, because even so, obviously it's like everyone has their priorities even when I'm not there. So I'm always very adamant, like, oh, these are people I trust, like
Hmm.
feel free, like I'm always happy to recommend people to like people I know that I know they'll be in good hands, because obviously it's like I don't want you to like be in a place where you're like what do I do? Do I keep waiting, or let alone you go somewhere else and it's either like out of your budget or it doesn't turn out to be what you wanted it? Like, I'm here for you.
Right. And so something that I've been thinking about since you moved to Hawaii, I was thinking like, you know, you can come out here every so often, but when you're in Hawaii, are you still doing hair, or do you have another occupation? What's your life in Hawaii like?
Yeah, I'm currently still doing hair. I work at a salon in downtown Honolulu, which is a little bit farther from where I like stay at, but it's totally fine. It's a good salon. It's reputable, and I'm trying to build my clientele here so I can eventually get to a point like where I'm at in Southern California, where I can like, well, be able to like have even more flexibility to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna be in Cali a little bit longer now because I could service my clients in Hawaii like at a different time because I'll be able to like fluctuate it a little bit more.
Nice. And so from some of your recent Instagram posts on your Instagram for your hairstyling, are the recent ones from Hawaii, or are these from California?
The last few have been from California. I was in California for the whole month of October, which was pretty wild. I don't know, it's such like a weird time because I know it's like out in Cali, it's like there was all the fires and stuff, so it was a very like odd time to be there. And then, you know, people like kind of going out, people kind of not going out, things kind of being open and not being open, and then just like everything like politically going on. I feel like it was a very odd time to be here. But I mean, I was still here, I was still there, I was still working, I was able to see people.
Good.
You know, it was nice, but you know, all within like being safe.
And since you mentioned COVID, is COVID in California different from how it is in Hawaii?
Ooh, yes and no. I feel like, I mean, when I think about like when COVID hit California, like it hit you guys, I feel like a lot sooner, and it hit you guys a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think out here in Hawaii, like we've only reached like total over this whole like pandemic, I think we've only reached less than like 20 or 18,000 cases, whereas like Cali has hit that within like the first like few weeks.
Right.
Which is pretty insane to me because granted, like we are a very small island, but I feel like our measures were a lot stricter for a lot longer period of time.
Right.
Because like we just started opening up everything, and even so, everything's still like not open.
Right.
But like we just barely started to like open up things and whatnot. Where I feel like Cali has been open for quite some time for the most part.
Yeah. It's here in Cali, it's almost as if like we went on lockdown for maybe a week or two, like we somewhat took it seriously. And then after a while, everyone just kind of like, well, we need our hair done, our nails done. We want to go get a wax. We want to eat inside the restaurant. So everyone just kind of like, you know what, forget it. And so it's like, if you wear your mask, everything's pretty much open at this point. People are pretty much living their everyday life or they're living their everyday life, but just wearing a mask pretty much and social distancing for the most part.
Which
And
is so odd to me because in my personal opinion, like I take the measure, I wear the mask and whatever, and I do like carry hand sanitizer because I've always kind of been that kind of person. I've always been that girl that had hand sanitizer on her. Like, and people like way back in high school definitely know that. I mean, I always had like my stupid little Bath and Body Works hand sanitizers on me. But like, I don't know. I just like I feel like obviously it's like if I remember I was talking to like an Uber driver about it the other day. It's like if you're not wearing a mask at literally all times of your day and all times of your life, it's not necessarily going to make the difference wearing it for the 2 hours that you have to be wearing it. Does it like help and does it prevent? I would like to believe that it does, but it's like I feel like if not everyone is taking the exact same measures that you are, then there's like no like telling like how safe it's necessarily going to be every time you go out.
right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So it's just like it's such like a weird like gray area. I feel like not just for like Hawaii, but like just for everyone, because I know there's definitely people that are still very much like, no, I'm gonna stay in, like, you know, whatnot, and I respect that. And then there's people that are like, yeah, no, like screw the mask, whatever. And to which I'm like, okay, like that's you do you, but you know, it's just like it's such like a very uncertain time for the most part. And I feel like they're just it's very odd to think that like we're coming up on 2021 and it's still probably going to be like this.
Yeah. which is
Whereas like,
unfortunate.
yeah, because it's like I see like other people I know that live in like different areas of the world, like that aren't in the US, and like they are actually living like normal lives. Like, you know, no masks, like 0 cases, or, you know, like under 100 in like 2 months or whatever. And so it's like not a thing the rest of the world. And it's like, it's so odd to think like, why are we behind on all these measures? But
yeah, there's only so much that we can do as the people. You know, there's other factors that go into it that need to happen, but you know, we'll just take it a day at a time, and hopefully sooner or later we can go back to normal and be like all the other countries who have 0 cases and who are, you know, out living and they're back in concerts and all that good stuff.
exactly, because I mean, you can only do what you can, and I can only do what I can, and like you got to just hope that everyone's doing their own part too.
Exactly. I love that. And speaking of doing what you can, um, there are certain hairstylists, just to get back on topic a bit, who are able
Right.
to who are able to do someone else's hair, but they can't do their own hair, and vice versa. They can only like braid their hair, but they can't braid someone else's hair. So for you, do you style your own hair, or do you also go to another stylist to get your cut going or whatever?
For the most part, I'll do my own hair, but I do get my undercut actually done. Like I can't do it myself. I don't trust myself to do it. I can't see the back of my head. I know I'd mess that up. Like even if I just, because I do like usually get like designs and stuff on the back of it too. But and I'm like, I know I can't do that, but I mean, I'm sure I could just like level it out if I really had to, but I couldn't actually go in there and do it. So I do get that done, and I'm pretty like good about getting it done. I get it done like every like other week, so like every 2 weeks
Okay.
for the most part. But yeah, I do go out to him. He's out here local in Hawaii. So yeah.
Nice. I like how you say
Yeah.
that, Flahy. Like, I like the way you said it. And so when you're doing other people's hair, what's the toughest style that you've done so far?
Ooh. It's hard to like pinpoint that. I feel like there's been different points in my career where just like, you know, every time it comes out with like, you know, these like newer trends or newer this and newer that, it can be like a challenge and stuff. Like I've definitely done like difficult hair like back when I was like first starting that like if I did it nowadays I'd be totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I feel like with every like different like style or different like, you know, hair type and whatnot, because obviously everyone has different hair types and whatnot, it can be
Right.
definitely challenging. And especially it's like being out here now with like a different demographic and whatnot, and like
Yeah.
being with all these different like hair types that I'm not even used to, for sure. Not necessarily been like super challenging, but it's definitely been like, okay, like I can't go about these like the same way I would go about like doing like all my like not all my normal clients, but all my regular clients out in like California and whatnot. So it's definitely been like, I guess like challenging in a sense,
Okay.
but like, you know, you just got to take it like person by person, day by day. And I'm just very thankful that like I have the trust in people to know that it's like if I say, hey, it might take like a little bit, it might take a little bit longer or whatnot, or you know, like let's do this and let's like work on this and whatnot. That I've always had clients that have been like, yep, that's totally fine.
Oh, good. And so you're speaking of like the different hair types that you worked with and the different demographics that you also work with. When you're in your hair school and you're, you know, you're getting your license and all that good stuff, are they educating you on the different hair types and how to properly, you know, manage those hair types and work with those hair types?
So I would say like you're pretty educated about it. Like I wouldn't per se like you don't come out knowledgeable about it, but most of the knowledge that you acquire like in this career is so much of it being hands-on, because I
Okay.
definitely know a lot about like everyone's different hair types demographically speaking, or you know whether it comes to like the like, you know, whether it's straight or curly or thick or like thin, you know, and you like we all have very like immense knowledge on these things, but like you'll never really know what you're working with until you work with it.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to, you know, high school days where, you know, we were in show choir and all the girls were doing their hair, and if I can remember correctly, a lot of girls would leave, that school year with some really damaged hair because of all the curling, all the
Oh,
products.
and I was definitely one of them.
And so, how has you, how, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to ask you basically, when you were in school, did you learn a lot about how to properly take care of your hair? And are you able to take what you learned to educate your clients on their hair?
Oh, absolutely, like 1000%. If I would have known half the things I knew, at least even just like in beauty school, and I could have like learned that before I like went into high school,
Mhm.
I would like to think that like I would have saved so many girls' hairs. Because I mean, I'm very like, I don't know. I try to be very like, I try to at least teach my clients at least about like daily, at the very least, like the bare minimum you can do to like keep your hair like intact.
Right.
Like obviously it's like, you can't do everything like your stylist can do or whatnot, but if you're taking like, you know, these few steps a day, or these few steps like every like week or a couple of days or so, like you're going to keep your hair in good shape and you're going to keep it healthy like until the next time you come in.
Right.
Because I feel like it is important, because so much of like what like I do, it's like, yeah, of course, like people's hair, it's like it's gonna look good, of course, when you leave a salon or like when you leave your barber and whatnot. It's
Mhm.
always gonna look good. But like if you're not, it's not like you can replicate the exact same steps that I do every single day.
It-
But it's like you can prolong like how your hair is going to look if you're doing what you can at home. Because so much of like your hair and your hair care and like the integrity of it, how it's going to look every day, is more based on you. Because obviously it's like you don't have me in your pocket every single day, so
right.
it's all based on what you're going to do. So I try and be pretty knowledgeable about that and pretty like straightforward, like, oh, maybe do this instead of doing this, or let me help recommend you some products that I know could work for your hair type, and like, steer away from like these things, or like try doing this a little bit more often.
And so I know that every hair type has different products that work for them. So like not there's usually it's very rare that one product would work for every hair type. So it's hard for people to say I use this product, it works, and then someone else uses it and it doesn't really work for them. And I know
Mm-hmm.
that when it comes to tips about hair, it's also different for everyone else. But are there any universal tips that people can take with them so they know, like, if I just take like these simple steps, or if you want to do like a specific, like if you have this specific kind of hair, these are some great steps for you to take to have healthy hair?
I would say for the most part, like just for like general rules of thumb, like at least keep up on haircuts. I usually suggest every like 3 to 6 months, depending on like your hair's growth and whatever. And usually, especially with guys and or girls, it's like you can tell like when you need a haircut. Like,
Right.
and like don't just sit there and be like, whatever. Like I like the length. Like you know, take care of it, and
Right.
trust me, it'll give you love back. Um, Other than that, I feel like one of the biggest things I always tell all my clients is avoid like most products that have like sulfates and parabens, because what that does, even like for my clients like without colored hair and whatnot, like it's going to strip out the natural oils in your hair, so it's going to like cause it to be like a little bit dry, a little bit rougher, or sometimes like the like um the parabens and silicones that can be in like your conditioners, like it'll like make it look shiny and stuff, but it's just going to create a bunch of buildup. So I usually say try and avoid like that, because sometimes that can be even like, even for my guy clients, that can maybe be like too irritating on like their skin or whatnot. Or like it could just get too much buildup, which I know like sometimes can like affect like the way like guys style their hair and whatnot. So I feel like I always tell that to probably every single one of my clients, because
Okay.
even just as a rule of thumb, whether you're shopping from like, like a big brand name, or if you have to like go to like the drugstores or like Target and whatnot, I'm always just avoid these two, like the parabens, the silicones, and the sulfates, and you should be like at least like in a clear for a little bit.
Right. And so you mentioned that you have male clients as well. So you do both male and female hair.
I do. I've been for the longest time actually in beauty school. I totally thought I was actually never going to do female hair. I totally thought I was just going to be a barber for the rest of my life, and I was pretty cool with that.
Mhm.
I don't know why I love doing like guys' hair. I've always loved doing guys' hair. So, but like once I got out of beauty school, I got really comfortable doing women's hair, which was good.
Yeah.
But I remember every so often, like you know, my guy friends would be like, hey, can you like hook it up with a haircut, which was totally fine with me, and I would do it, but I would always be like, dang, I really wish I would have like gone into that more and whatnot. And so like probably I'd say like 3.5, like almost 4 years into my career is when I started getting into barbering again. I got like, I apprenticed, got my license, and then worked at a barber shop for a little bit. And like, so I do have like a pretty like set like clientele of guys, which I know they all absolutely can't stand the fact that I don't live in California right now, because they were all guys that I would definitely see every like other week or every like 2 or 3 weeks, which I know you're one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, oh, you preaching to the choir.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You are. And is it easier to do guys' hair than girls, or is it just what makes you kind of gravitate more towards doing guys' hair opposed to women?
You know, I don't necessarily know. I don't think it's necessarily whether it's easier or harder, because I've definitely encountered like guys that can be just as like necessarily like picky or like a little bit like harder or very like, you know, like unsure, that I've been like, that kind of like relate to like it being just as difficult as women's hair. But I don't know, I think it was more so just like almost like the vibe and like the lifestyle. Like I always liked being in like a barbershop. It was always cool. It's a little bit more laid back. You know, you kind of just kick it, and like you like, more than anything, there's always better music playing. I feel like that was like my biggest thing. Like I'd always go to the barbershop and they always had good music playing. Whereas like I feel like you walk into a salon and there's always like sounds like Zara.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm in your salon, you always have the jams playing. It's like early 2000s R&B.
Oh yeah.
It's always throwback. Like it's always a chill vibe when I'm in your salon and your music is playing. You always play the jam. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like when I started owning my own place, I always made it a point that I wanted it to be like just as like chill and like welcoming and warming as like I always like wanted it to be. And I think that's why I kind of like made it I guess like, as much as it was a salon, I always felt like it had more of a vibe where it's like, even if my guys came in, they would be totally chill. Like they wouldn't be like, oh, I'm walking into a salon. They'd always be like, hey, like what's good? And it was always just like they would walk into like their normal barber shop. Like I always tried to keep the vibe like just as like cool.
I love
And yeah, and even so, it's like, because obviously all my clients are very different from one another. It's like, as much as like, I feel like a lot of my clients actually know each other for the most part, but they're all pretty different from one another. So it's like, sometimes I'll like look at my schedule and be like, okay, I'll like keep it on this playlist for like these few, and I'll switch it up like for these like last few, you know, just to like cater more towards, because I do like everyone just like just being as comfortable and like as chill as possible, because like sometimes you're there for a while, sometimes it's like an in and out appointment, but like I just want it to be like, you know, like I like it to be more of just like an experience rather, oh, I'm getting my hair done and I gotta like, you know, I have to do this. I want it to be more so like of the, oh, like, yeah, I'm gonna go see Danielle, like I'll get my hair done, but like, you know, it'll be cool.
Right. And so do you know when you're coming back out to Cali so people can start scheduling their bookings?
The goal is either it's like kind of like early to mid-December, like right before the holidays.
Oh, that's smart.
If like, here's hoping, because I don't know, I feel like it's been like pretty like iffy whether California is closing back down or not. So like I have it like booked, I have it marked in my calendar, but I haven't like actually put out anything for like my clients to start booking or not yet. That, because like I know like that time of year, like people don't necessarily have their schedules yet, or people are like trying to like figure out their schedules. So I usually put it a little bit closer to like the dates that I'm usually like out, and and when I know for sure that I'm like, okay, I'm actually coming out these days, like this is what's happening.
Okay.
Because like, you know, it's like definitely like throughout this COVID stuff, I know I would like pre-book my clients before even like I would leave from California for my next time in California, just because so they would have it. But like, especially like the first like few times I did that throughout COVID, I was like, cool, I'm gonna have to, you know, like reschedule these and then move it over, and then I had to do that again, and then I had to do that one more time, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait.
Right.
So yeah, so here's hoping December, and if for some reason December doesn't work, which like here's hoping that it does, but in the strange event that it does not, I will be back in January for sure.
Okay. And
like I don't care, no ifs, ands, or buts.
okay, so no matter what, if we don't see you in December, we can expect you in California in January.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then, so before we wrap everything up, how can someone book with you? Someone that's not your friend, who doesn't have your number, how would they book with you?
I usually keep a booking link on my like Instagram profile page, and I know I have one on like my Facebook profile page too. And usually, like I said, I put that up like when I'm like either out in Cali and whatnot. So it's not up at the moment just because I don't want people to get like too confused.
Okay.
So I usually put it up like right before, and like the dates are like blocked off and bolded, and I make a point to post it like 27,000 times so people know.
Okay.
But I'll put it out there. If not, like my DMs are pretty much always open, and I know like a lot of like even like newer clients, they'll usually be like referrals from like friends or family, which I'm very thankful for.
Good.
But half the time I'll always like tell like those like referrals, and like, or like my friends or family, if they're like asking, I'll be like, feel free, you can handle my number, you can handle my Instagram. I'm pretty much open all the time. So like however is the easiest way to get to me, I just let it happen.
Okay. And what is your Instagram for those that don't know?
It should be at ArtistryByDaniM.
All right, at ArtistryByDaniM. And you know what, Danielle, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. It's been a fun interview process. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, of course. I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and it was really good to catch up with you because I just wasn't aware that you were still doing hair in Hawaii. And so I really hope that your clientele, reaches, a grand status for you to where you're able to successfully travel back and forth and still have clientele in both states, and maybe even more if things, are truly, truly successful for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I can't wait to like come back and like do your hair again.
Yes, please, look at this. And before we sign off, the last question is, so what is the end goal with, styling and being a beautician and a hairstylist? Are you looking to like be a celebrity hairstylist, or what's the end goal?
I feel like at this point in my life, I've definitely reached an end goal because I like where I'm at in like Southern California, where it's like I'm able to more so it's like I don't have to sit there and like like worry about like my schedule or anything. Like I get to see all the people that I definitely do want to see. Like my clients are all people that I love seeing, that I look forward to seeing, and that's why I keep coming back to California. And my end goal is just to be able to just kind of do that, like see the clients that like I really do genuinely value, like the relationship that I have with them and whatnot. And not necessarily do this because like I have to do this, or I have to like make my stable income, or whatnot. Like I want to be able to get to a point in my life and my career. I'm so sorry if you can hear the gardeners.
No,
but where I can just like be there for like my friends, my family, like the few referrals I'll get, and like clients that really do become like so much more than just clients to me.
I love that. So everyone, her Instagram is at ArtistryDaniM. I will have all her links in the description below, so that way when she does come out to Cali, you can go ahead and book with her. Again, Danielle, I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you.
And for everyone else out there, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This video should be up soon. I have a lot of other different videos that will be going on with other interviews with other friends. So look forward to those. If you would like to be interviewed by me to give anything that you're doing some promotion or some free publicity, feel free to go ahead and contact me. My contact information will also be in the links or in the description below. All right, without further ado, guys, bye, bye, bye.